And we're underway again. It's leaving Tiplers anchorage inside of South Stradbroke Island, and that was a great little stay. Had a couple of nights there, and nice lunch yesterday, nice walk. And you've got to be careful around these areas. As I'm noticing right now, you do have to plan to work with the tides because it's very shallow. There's obviously a sandbank just over here that we were anchored up very close to, and we didn't see it on the charts, and luckily we were 50 metres away, but still you do need to be very aware of the shallows and stay within the channels because they're obviously there for a reason. The tide is rising today, and I've got to go and get some parts from Adam at Onshore Engineering up at Stiglitz, which is in fact where we bought the mould from. So a little bit of reminiscing going on of Jimmy and I cutting up the mould almost 10 years ago now to next month. So it's been a big round circle, to be honest, and we're just following the charts all the way up the river now. So we're basically heading down from Tiplers, and then we'll head up the river up to Kangaroo Island and Jacob's Well, and then up to Stiglitz to get our parts. So we've got the Navionics running in unison with our Garmin, which in fact I think is the same chart. But anyway, we'll have a little bit of rest and just enjoy the surroundings because it's such a beautiful day. There is a bit of a stiff southerly blowing today. We've started planning our next move, and within about a week we'd like to be up around Marina, which is basically the stepping off point up into Wide Bay and Double Island Point, which gives us then the ability to go in behind Fraser Island and up in the inside of the reef. So pretty exciting stuff. We've just got to time that weather and tide obviously very, very carefully because Wide Bay Bar can be a bit gnarly, and I've heard that you just got to plan it really carefully because the tide and the swell are the issue there. So anyway, we'll keep moving. Check out this thing. I think I've actually seen this in Huskisson once. I'm sure it came down, but not sure what it is. I have a feeling it was built in South Australia. Stealthy. Wow, that's a complicated beast, that. So we're just coming up to almost to where Jimmy and I cut up the mould and framed it for transport. And that's like a full circle moment for us, and it's almost 10 years next month, or it might be in August. I think we're in just towards the end of June now. So 10 years ago, 2016, and Synergy makes our way back to a home. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Okay, we've arrived up at Stiglitz, and the Marina's directly opposite us. We're in a pretty windy little anchorage and the tide's coming in, so not real happy about being here, and we had a bit of trouble getting out to hold, but it's holding now, and it's certainly got a good bite on. We're sort of in a bit of a mooring field, so don't know what's going to happen when the tide changes, but anyway, we'll head over and get our parts and we'll make some decisions after that. So we're going to head over into the marina over here and go and see Adam and get our parts, and then we can get going. We're learning the logistics of owning a boat and living on a boat. You've got to find places to buy parts, you've got to find your way around, and we're here at, I don't know what this is called, Horizon Shores Marina or something, at Onshore Engineering. Parked the tender illegally, but anyway, we'll be back in a sec. I don't know. Beware of snakes. Yep. Have our parts available for us, and we can get back on the boat and go and find somewhere nice to shelter for the night because it's a bit yuck where we are moored over there. Alright, Onshore Marine at Stiglitz. So I keep saying it, 10 years on, and we're back at Stiglitz where the life on the mould began. This is a coming home moment for us, and we're just going to drive straight past because we don't want to live that again. But we just, funnily enough, where we just got our parts from Onshore Engineering or Onshore Marine at Stiglitz Marina there, right beside it, or right opposite it, was Voyager Catamarans that originally made this boat. So it really is a coming home moment. Now, it's been changed hands now and in new ownership, but the new owners wouldn't even recognise that they ever had this boat as part of their fleet. Well, actually not this boat, but a similar boat anyway. But yeah, we're cruising up the Stiglitz, or up through the Stiglitz area, and it's a sort of a more semi-rural area, but that marina we're at was certainly pretty substantial marina, and we're just looking for a nice calm anchorage tonight just to chill, so we can wake up in the morning early and get our way up into Moreton Bay, right up into the channel to have a nice, a couple of days of sailing. We'll head up towards Peel Island on Saturday. And there it is, right there, right in front of Shirl's house. Right in front of her picture window. She had to look at this dirty thing. Wow, what an amazing moment that was when we pulled up and saw it just sitting there, and we stood outside that fence up there and yeah, wondered what the hell we'd done, and here we are 10 years later. You believed in me, honey. Sucked in. Oh, it's not too bad. We're living a pretty good life now as a result of that moment. So, gotta never live with regret. That's what I say. Well, that was a pretty rough night, and you can hear in the background my anchor alarm going off. We had a 25 knot southerly, and we were sheltered in behind Peel Island in Moreton Bay, but wasn't very sheltered. We sort of copped it all night, and when I went to bring the anchor up, it had a ball of mud about the size of a soccer ball hanging off it. It was not easy to bring up. But anyway, we're on our way. We're going to go over to Raby Bay to pick up some posts and watch the Socceroos beat Paraguay. Well, hopefully anyway. And that's going to be our day today, because it's pretty wet and miserable here in Queensland. I'll tell you what, it's like being at home in winter here right now. When we haven't got the warmth we had a few days ago. Big rain cloud coming in, and we're going to cop it in a moment. But at least my anchor alarm's working, Jan. At least the anchor alarm went off, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, good. I'll get onto it. Oh, it's nice and calm here after last night. We had a bit of a beat down last night. It was as rough as anything. It was about a 2-foot wind chop underneath the boat, slapping away, and it was pretty uncomfortable. And we're over at Raby Bay now, just south of Brisbane, and we're about to watch the World Cup soccer match. I just said to Janet, I'm feeling a bit guilty about having Ugg boots and track pants on, but anyway, we're not going to feel guilty because the World Cup soccer's on, and we're about to watch the Socceroos annihilate Paraguay, kick him out of the World Cup, and hopefully we have a win. But yeah, she's pretty wet and miserable for southern Queensland. It is a bit of a wet place here, and there's a big like 50, 60 foot aluminium cat just over here. Looks a bit like the Delos boat, and it's not Delos, and there's another one over here, so there's quite a lot of cats in here anchored up. Very nice little spot, and we've got access to town and a post office box here where we've got some Beachmaster inflatable beach wheels for the tender. Now that is something that the minute I put those plastic bloody beach wheels on that tender, and Jason came over and told me that they were shit, I thought, what have I done? So we had to buy the other ones from New Zealand. They came in virtually overnight. Thing where you can do like a parcel locker, and it gets sent to a local post office 24/7 pick up, and you just punch in a code, and the box opens and you get your parcel. So what we've actually got, originally I bought these guys, these little beach wheels. The problem is, as soon as they get into sand, they fill up with bloody sand, and then they're useless. They just disappear into the sand. So we've just arrived back with Beachmaster boat launching wheels. I should have bought these in the first place. I knew I'd bought the wrong thing, and then when Jason came over, he told me off. So the only problem is I've got to be able to pump them up, so that's going to be another bloody issue, to be honest. I've got a bike pump. I'm sure I can manage that. Anyway, so Beachmaster beach wheels from New Zealand. Ordered them last Monday. It's now Friday, and they're here, and I'm in Queensland, and it's been through 2 sets of hands. They DHL'd the thing straight to Sam's office. Sam's then posted it to me, and Janet and I just gone and collected them. Now, this has been the most weird weather. It's cold, and it's wet, and it's windy. And we're in Queensland. This is not what we're supposed to be here for, so don't mind a little bit of wet weather. But in the 6 weeks we've been away, I think we've had about 4 good days, so quite surprising. And it's particularly in Queensland, you expect a little bit better weather at this time of year, but we're not complaining, because our home is very comfortable, very dry, and Janet's just come back with a bit more shopping. Got some food, topped up on some bread and a chook, a tradies handbag we call this one, and some laundry soaker for the thing, and I'm heading into a cup of coffee, which is going to be nice. So we'll get this cut open, and we'll get them installed over the next week, and make life a lot easier. although the tender's reasonably light, because I've got the fuel tank up in the front of it, and the anchor and a couple of baskets of shoes and stuff and life jackets and things, it's bloody heavy at the front, so I'm going to be moving stuff down to the back. I should have known better, but that fuel tank is going to live down at the back of the boat from now on, and that'll make things a lot easier to lift up and drag up the beach. Poor Janet's been struggling with a bad shoulder, and the last thing I want to do is end our cruising plans with a bad shoulder. I know it has been known to kill off a lot of cruisers having ailments like that, and I'm getting a bit sore in my elbows from hard graft, and I think, you know, that gripping of power tools over the years is starting to come back to bite me. But anyway, I'm trying to deal with that. So the wheel should make a massive difference to being able to lift this tender up the beach and lock her up. Well, if these don't do the trick, I don't know what will. They're huge. Might struggle with a bit of space on the back of my tender, but anyway, I'll get them fitted over the weekend, and should make our life a lot easier. I have had a recurring fuel issue in the starboard engine room, and fueling up has been a bit of a challenge, and I just found a kink in my breather hose, so hopefully that explains it. I've straightened it out. I'm hoping that's going to be it. I mean, we never had it initially, and it's obviously something that's occurred while we've been underway. But Sunday morning, we've just had a nice little breakfast and straight into the jobs. We're sitting here at Raby Bay in Brisbane, southern Brisbane, and it's a beautiful little anchorage, but it is a bit bouncy. And Ron rang me the other day. He's been checking us out on AIS and said, move your boat, you're not a mono, get further in closer to shore. So I'm withholding from moving because another big cat came in and took the spot that I wanted. But anyway, it's one of the best things you'll see on a Sunday morning. Somebody else scrubbing the poop deck. Janet's decided that it was important that we give our deck a good clean.
And I now understand why people don't have white decks.
Yeah, I think the EVA foam might be the ultimate answer, eh?
Long-term project, yeah. We won't do it for a while. There's other projects. But
could be worse. You could have teak. So the jobs never end here on the Hulls. We've basically been getting into some jobs and doing some. I've just been in the engine room fixing up and cleaning up some engine room issues that I've had. I haven't had a belt cover on my belts, on the alternator belts and the pulley belts, so I thought I'd better put the cover back on, and that took about an hour to do that because I couldn't find the offset studs that came with it. I'd taken them off to fit the extra alternator and hadn't put them back on since, so that's another thing out of the wardrobes, which is really good. Just found another leak in the cupboard, and I'll be able to rectify that pretty soon. But tomorrow we're going to move on. We're going to go and get some water and some fuel and head over to Moreton Island, and the winds are going to change. It's been southerly now for 7 days straight, and we're just about over it because we're pinned here at Raby Bay. We could actually head off. The swells are dropping, but we want to spend some time up on Moreton Island. And I had a haircut the other day. As you can see, I'm getting thin on top, and there's not a lot of grooming going on for me. Janet's looking after herself, but I'm not. I've been laying in bed till 9 o'clock every morning. Had a pinched shoulder yesterday, and I was in a bit of agony last night. So Janet's going, she's got the violins out. And she gave me a couple of anti-inflammatories and a beer, and that seemed to knock it on its head overnight, but I'm definitely feeling a bit better this morning. Well, it looks like we might have got a bit of a break in the weather, and we're done sitting still. We want to move again. It's funny, this cruising life. You think you're going to be moving every day and anchorage to anchorage and living the dream, but yeah, it's not so, is it?
Well, there's plenty of sitting around, but I think when you start talking to the people who've been doing it for a long time,
yeah,
it's just part of it, and we just need to adjust because we've been going, well, I'm repeating myself, we've been going for a while. Doesn't mean these people aren't, but they know when to stop and rest.
Exactly. And I guess that's all part of the adjustment of living on a cruising boat, is you just got to be prepared to wait out the weather. Now, we've had a really stiff southerly, like 20 to 25 knots for the last week, I guess. We've been up here in the southern end of Moreton Bay for around about 4 or 5 days, and the first night was pretty ordinary, and then we've had 3 nights here at Raby Bay, which has been great, of course. We've caught up on the provisioning, and we've got to go in and get some fuel. We don't really need fuel, but we need to get water, and I've got a water maker here to install, and I've sort of started that process, but that's going to be a longer term project, so until then we need to deal with water. So to get water, invariably you have to buy fuel, particularly around here where the marinas have sort of access to all the water, and unfortunately the parks and the beaches don't really have taps. You can use a tap one of those security taps to access water, but then you're lugging jerry cans hundreds of metres down to the beach. So we're getting on top of our water, hopefully, and put a bit more fuel in. I think I've resolved my issue with the fuel breather. It had a kink in the hose, and obviously pressure was building up, wouldn't allow it, and then we'd have a bit of an overflow. So those are the sorts of things that have kept me busy. Other things that have kept us busy is just basically going back and forth and trying to get some exercise, because we're struggling with not getting enough exercise, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yep. You need to walk and you need to move, and we should have got the kayak off, but it's been pretty crappy weather, I've got to be honest. It's been right down the coast all the way to home has been pretty ordinary, and it doesn't sort of induce a feeling of get out and go paddleboarding when there's a 25 knot southerly blowing in your face. But anyway, we're going to get moving. We've got to give Janet the mic occasionally because she says I take over.
No, I don't. It's just he tells me how to turn the mic on every time I put the camera on.
Alright, so we're heading into Raby Bay Marina, and we're going to get some fuel and water. And yeah, going into marinas is still a bit new to us, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
You just realise when you come into these marinas how you thought you did something super special. I mean, we did by building our boat, but there are literally millions of boats, and probably 20% of them up here are cats, because it's shallow water, a lot of sandbars and things, and there's just, I mean, every type of cat. There's the Neisner 500 up here, there's a Leopard 48 there, there's a Leopard 50 down here. There's just so many boats around, and you just wonder where the money comes from. The wealth in this country and in some of these countries, I mean, Australia's a very wealthy country, and you can see where the wealth disparity is. Yeah, not sure it's a good thing. It's these marinas are just absolutely unbelievable how much money is just sitting dormant, and I just hope that Synergy doesn't end up sitting dormant. I don't think she will. I think we've got the nous to keep moving and keep growing with it. But you know, it's one of those things you really got to ask yourself: is enough enough? It's so nice to be able to come into a marina and have a 40 litre a minute pump, not a 80. Which is what that big bugger is down there. And the breather problem I've had with this fuel filler over the last, since we left, essentially, every time I went to fill it, it would backflow up, and obviously the breather wasn't breathing. I've actually solved that problem by the look of it and got a kink out of it, and we've been able to get some fuel here this morning, and we've topped up with 60 extra litres of diesel for our jerry cans. So I've always got spare fuel on board, and the good thing is if you buy some fuel, they give you water. So I'm pretty happy about that. Janet's in there monitoring the water situation at the moment, because we don't have well, I mean, they're reliable, but they're not as reliable as they could be, the sensors on our water containers or on our water tanks. What's going on? We've got 93% in each fuel tank, 97% in our starboard water, 49 in our port at the moment, and the best way to do it is with Janet's fingernail. Janet spends half an hour on her knees. She goes down to one fingernail length, and that's our tanks full. There's a baffle in the middle of our main water tanks on each side, and that stops that free surface effect when we're moving, and we haven't heard any slopping of the water tanks. So we've got enough slopping as it's going on. So yeah, plenty of nice things happened this morning. Stress-free fueling. Was a bit hairy coming in, but it wasn't too bad.
This is where I store our fuel. Or maybe we shouldn't tell you that.
Yeah, it's all locked up. Trust me. It's like deer is poison at the moment with this war going on. Anyway. One thing we haven't really talked about, although I've got a water maker to install, we have been catching the odd bit of water for washing and the like. I've got a skin fitting up here that feeds all the roof off probably the port side of our hard top down this hose and into this big grey container where we can catch water, and that's actually pretty reliable fresh water because the hard top up here has been cleaned, and anything that lands on here, well, this hard top behind the helm station actually is a fairly clean area, and there's not really a lot of dirt and shit gets caught on it, and then it comes down into this skin fitting area. It would have been better putting in a flush one, but it sort of keeps the dirt out, which is great. Any dirt that lands accumulates around the outside, and then once a day we just give it a wipe, and it ensures we get nice clean water. But yeah, this has been a good spot here at Raby Bay, and we've had 3 days here, and it's been a really nice little break for us, particularly in the shocking weather we've had, and today's the best day we've had for about 2 weeks, I think, apart from our one day at Tiplers about a week ago. But yeah, we're about to head out of here once our water's done. And we're going to head over to Moreton Island, over to Dunich and Dean Billa Bay, or Dean Billa Bay I think it's called. And hopefully the wind's going to turn a bit easterly later on in the day and give us a bit of shelter.
So those kids over there fishing were really lovely. I've noticed that with the kids here. All friendly, polite, out and about. It's nice. Back to our boat.
The never-ending search for water and fuel. At least if you buy some fuel, you get free water. So that's pretty impressive here at Raby Bay. You got to go and ask for the key, and probably recommend you ask for the key before you start filling up. No, they were great. They were really lovely. But we're going to head out now over to Moreton Island and toward Dunich on North Stradbroke, and we're just sort of north of Redland Bay where Delos are being made. So didn't expect to see them, but did actually see a nice De Villiers yacht not far from us, a big cat, big aluminium cat, and it's all the rage at the moment. But we're pretty happy with our synergy, and probably won't be building an aluminium cat anytime soon. Well, that was relatively easy. I was been sort of I have sleepless parts of the night worrying about going into docks, and that was pretty simple because their fuel dock was right out of the wind, no current. Occasionally you'll get to them and they've got a bit of wind on them, and you get a little bit panicky. Beautiful big Neisner 500 SE there, catching up it's called. Nice one there, another light wave over here. There's plenty of cats in this bay, and I can sort of see why people have sailboats in Moreton Bay. It's very shallow, a lot of shelving sandbars and things, but Moreton Bay just off Brisbane, huge inland or huge waterway with then miles and miles of inland channels to explore, and lots of free anchorages, which is just incredible. You don't get that in New South Wales. We just don't have that that facility or infrastructure down there, other than in the big places like Sydney and Port Hacking, where you just pay through the nose to anchor or moor your boat. But anyway, we're cleaning up and we're on our way out, and we're going to head over to Dunich, which is on the other side of Moreton Bay, over on the North Stradbroke side of Moreton Bay.
Bit late doing this, but that's an osprey nest with some chicks in it.
Well, we just made our way over to Dunich, and what a little spot this is. We've got a beautiful little anchorage. I just said to Jen, it's so quiet. There's no slapping. There's no extra movement of water, which is so nice. Now from here, we can actually catch a bus, and there's a bus stop right there and a public wharf where we can tie the dinghy up that takes us out to the northern point of North Stradbroke Island. What a great little spot this little town is, and it's serviced by ferries, and we could have got water here apparently. Now that we're here, not fuel but certainly water, and what a great little spot. There's tons of boats in the anchorage over here. There's another big cat coming in. He's just sailed in behind us, but finally the sun's out. We've got some sunshine, thank God. I feel like I'm in Queensland now. I've been in Queensland for 2 weeks and we've had about 1 day of sun, so nice to see the sun come out and finally start to adorn us with its rays. So I've just got the bus from Dunich to Point Lookout, and it was like being in a chicken coop. The noise, it was horrendous. I just want to get back to my quiet boat. I think I'm becoming a little bit bit of a hermit, Darren, after 7 weeks on a boat. I just don't want to be around noise and people. But we're at Point Lookout on the about middle of North Stradbroke, and yeah, there's humpback whales breaching in the... several of them. There's another one.
The one I saw, and
there's quite a few. Humpbacks everywhere out here. There's another one breaching right out there.
Yeah.
So Friday's looking like a good weather window for us to jump north to Double Island Point, virtually at the southern end of Fraser Island. That's looking the best. We've got a mild easterly swell and a little bit of a northwesterly to westerly wind, which will sort of give us a beam reach all the way up. It's about 70 miles from our launch point at the end of Moreton Island. bit of swell around today. I hope this dies before we head off, because it's about 3 metre swell at the moment. Yet another bloody walking holiday.
It's a still boat all the time.
Yeah, my quads are a bit sore. So it's about a half-hour bus ride, 50 cents. Come on, that's $1 return for a half-hour bus ride. I mean, someone's going broke doing that. But when you get out here, the facility they've put in here for people to walk around and whale watch and check out the coastline, this boardwalk's just fantastic. It's allowed everybody to walk it. Well, if you're in a wheelchair, you'd be stuffed, but for anyone else, pretty much you could walk this perfectly safely, and there's hundreds of people here. God, I cannot believe how many people are here. From where we're anchored, you wouldn't see the ferries are coming in every hour, and I'm going to move tonight because we had a pretty sleepless night last night. Every time the ferries came in, and started at 4:40 this morning was the first ferry, and that was I was up, and then we had a squall come through, and the anchor dragged, and well, it didn't drag, it sort of rustled, and I thought, well, it's going to drag. But yeah, what a great thing this is. It's nice for us to get off and have a little bit of space from each other, because once again we've been on the boat 7.5 weeks, and Janet's had to put up with me for 7.5 weeks. Nothing compared to the 37 years she's had to tolerate me. This is the gorge walk at North Stradbroke at Point Lookout. Big humpback right just at the mouth of the gorge there. Absolutely beautiful scene. Pretty good, eh?
Yeah, there's lots of whales.
Can't believe it's $1 return for the entire day on the bus. Queensland, study place for shady people, this place.